Hi everybody, I'm Dominic from AskMeDIY.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install real hardwood floor. By real, I mean the whole thing is a solid piece of wood. It's 3/4 of an inch thick. And speaking of how much it costs, to have it installed, it can definitely get up there. It's probably one of the most expensive floors to get put in, right? Doing it yourself, you can buy the floor for anywhere from like $220 to $250 a square foot, and a lot of time and back breaking, and you get it installed. But when you're done, that's it. It's got a floor that's going to last forever. But you do have to sand and urethane it afterwards, which we have a video on that, and it's really not that bad. But your finished product, you just can't beat it. On the hardwood floor, most of the floor that you would find is 2 1/4 inches wide, 3/4 of an inch thick. All of it's going to be 3/4 though. You have your tongue on one side, and you have a groove on the other. That goes for all 4 sides, okay? Now, one of the most important things to know, you have to leave a gap all the way around the floor. You don't want it really tight, because it's wood. It wants to expand and contract and do some funky things. So on the one end, you want to leave like a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch. Nothing huge by no means, all right? I'm going to show you how to install some. What the tools you're going to be needing. Rent this out. There's a floor nailer, and it's means use the air. We'll show you that in a minute, okay? And you can rent this from a rental store. All right. Now, real quickly, you have your red rosin paper. That comes on a roll. You want to lay that out. What it does, it's really not a vapor barrier. It's just more or less so the floor can slip with each other to the other floor, which would make, more squeaks and all that. It does act as a vapor barrier a little bit, but definitely don't look at it as a vapor barrier. If this was a basement, it would be plastic under it and paper on top of that, okay? Now, laying the boards out, you're going to see they come in all different sizes, and which is real important because that's how you're going to get your look, right? Well, on the joints, see I'm pretty far away from this other one? Well, that's what we want. We don't want it like right up here. A couple inches, 4 inches back, that's okay, but definitely not right on top of it, definitely not, and so forth. So I got the boards pretty much laid out. I got this one here, and then I'm going to put that one on top of that, and we're going to continue. I'm going to show you how we're going to nail it in, and then I'm actually going to teach the homeowner how to do it. All right, now, real quickly, you have your red rosin paper. That comes on a roll. You want to lay that out. What it does, it's really not a vapor barrier. It's just more or less so the floor can slip with each other to the other floor, which would make, more squeaks and all that. It does act as a vapor barrier a little bit, but definitely don't look at it as a vapor barrier. If this was a basement, it would be plastic under it and paper on top of that, okay? Now, laying the boards out, you're going to see they come in all different sizes, and which is real important because that's how you're going to get your look, right? Well, on the joints, see I'm pretty far away from this other one? Well, that's what we want. We don't want it like right up here. A couple inches, 4 inches back, that's okay, but definitely not right on top of it, definitely not, and so forth. So I got the boards pretty much laid out. I got this one here, and then I'm going to put that one on top of that, and we're going to continue. I'm going to show you how we're going to nail it in, and then I'm actually going to teach the homeowner how to do it. We already showed you the nailer, which is actually a stapler, but it's made for the hardwood floor, of course. But the other part of that tool is a special hammer. It's nice, it's got some weight to it. Got a nice hard rubber mallet on one side, and if you look, this is metal here, and this is chamfered here. It's not on a nice angle. Well, it's on an angle. When you turn it upside down, and you go to hit the board on the side, you're not hitting the top of it, you're only getting the bottom of it. The bottom of it, of course you don't want to maul it all up, but the top, forget about it. You don't want to touch the top at all because then it's all over. But the long board on the floor here, obviously it's not attached. Bring it over with my foot. I'll give a couple little taps, Okay, it doesn't want to go in that easy, and it's a long board. All I do, I just stand on it. Then with the rubber mallet, nothing crazy. You don't want to hit it crazy hard because you will screw the wood up, so you don't want to do that. So give it a couple little bangs. Like that. And it's, it's going in. But look at that big gap. We don't want to leave that behind, right? What I want to do, I want to get this and hit the side end of the board in. Jim, stop that. Okay, now we're ready to nail this puppy in. Now on the nailer, you have a piece of plastic here, that's so you don't really mark up the floor big time. Make sure that's laid flat. Now the way these staples are going to come out, let's see if I have a staple. There we go. Some staples. These are the staples. Once you don't drop them, they break apart. These are your staples. What's happening, it's going on an angle, and it's going right on the edge of that tongue, and boom. So the same, right into wood. And the same time you're doing that, it's giving a lot of pressure. It's going to close this gap up. Now this is, you know, a nice gap. You don't want that. You want the rest of it looking nice and clean like this. Okay? As long as everything's clean, when I go to banging this in, of course I keep my foot on, make sure it's flat, hand on the handle, and just like that. Look, still a little bit of a gap there. And that's okay. Don't. Every 6 inches or so, when you put one in. That's it. That's how you put this one in. Now we go to the next one, go for it. But what I want to do, I want to show you the homeowner how to do this so he can finish it off. Okay. All right, now this is Jimmy, the homeowner. Now he's been watching us do it. Now let's see how he does. Let's see if I give him the least amount of instruction. Jim, you got that gap over there. No, Jim, use the metal of the hammer. Oh. Upside down like that. Make sure you're really close to the bottom. Alright, that tightened it up. Alright, start nailing that in. Go a couple inches from that edge right there. You know, to the end of the board.
Right there?
Yeah, go a little bit closer. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, it's flat.
Yeah, well put your foot on the bottom, the shoe of that. Yeah, like that, so you make sure it's flat.
Okay.
So it's on the right angle, you know. Alright. Now, go closer, 6 inches, about 6 inches.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, give it a whack. You could just slide it as you're going, you know, you don't have to pick it up and like reposition the whole entire thing. Alright. Alright, and put another one a couple inches from the end there. Alright, good deal. Okay, now we have a piece that we have to cut at the end of the wall. Great. Now, we could use a tape measure and say, oh, okay, it's about 11 inches. Okay, you know what? Not for nothing, but I don't use tape measures, at least on this. We could just put this against the wall and we could mark it like that, but then we're going to leave a gap, so give it a 1/4 inch there. Okay, still no good, because see where the tongue is? It's facing out, and that's what we want. This is our nailing edge right here. Well, if I cut this, well, it will never join up, because see the tongue sticking out on the adjoining board? Quick, easy way. Make sure the tongue is always facing the right way. Flip the board over, bring it against it. So now we can just cut it, but we're going to leave that for the gap there. All right, so that's where we want to cut that board. So let's go cut that, and for the cut it, we're going to use a chop saw. Okay, there's our cut piece and the other piece. One quick thing I want to tell you. You cut one piece off, and it's a decent size, okay? Well, let's not throw it out or put it in the fireplace, okay? See how it's cut and nice and it's flat here? Well, that'd be great for the other row, way down there. So save those pieces. What I like to do when I cut them, I just toss them down to the end over there, so when I start another row, so we get to use as much of that wood that we did. Now, of course, I can't get the hammer in on the side to bang that in nice and tight. Well, what I like to do, I put on an angle, get that started, get that in there, and bang it in. And that came out, pretty good actually. I didn't do anything. One thing, if it didn't, you just put like a big pry bar, I use a screwdriver, on the bottom against the sheetrock, and right on the other side of that sheetrock is the wall, the bottom plate, your stud. So that's really not going to move. I can put a little pressure on that, and with the rubber mallet, bang the floor, get a little vibration in, and that will eventually fit in nice and tight together. Again, you have to make sure that everything's all nice and clean, because if you leave any kind of little wood particle in there, that's it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so I can nail that in and then continue with the rest of it. Okay, quick tip. Now, if you look at these boards, they're all different sizes, really. I mean, who cares? We just want to make sure there's a gap there, and we don't want it bigger than our piece of trim. Now, this is a trim that would be going back on. Now, if you're doing this is a whole remodel of this project, but so we've already removed all our trim. Don't try to put a hardwood floor and leave the trim in place and think you're going to go with the shoe molding over it. I mean, honestly, I don't know, you can, but I don't bother. You're doing a whole floor, make it look nice. So anyway, a piece of trim, just go and put it on the floor, as you go. Like, you're gonna get this piece here, we'll go next, say, and you got your gap. You wanna make sure you're covering that, okay? And, being that that's the trim that's going on, make sure. Because if it's not, well, guess what? Ain't nothing you're gonna do about it. So that's a great little tip, and if I ever have a question, I just grab a piece of trim. Okay. All right, check this out. I'm going to install this one long board. Again, you want to mix them up, okay? There's no right way to do it, but the wrong way would be have all the lines line up, and it's kind of impossible to do. But anyway, a nice long one. The longer the board, the more warpage you can possibly have. If you look at this one, wow, this is pretty tight over here and tight over there, but look at this. That was bowing out, okay? Not a big deal, okay? That's to be expected. So, like any other board, you gotta get in there. And you can see, I mean, look at this, look at it. Okay? So, you wanna get that in, lock that in, like that. Okay? So you can see that's really tight here, but look at that. Okay? Well, I mean, really, just nailing it in, it's gonna tighten itself up. But just pay attention as you go. Make sure that it is. When you put that staple or nail in, make sure that it is tightening up. Okay. Now, how hard to swing the hammer? Well, hard enough, but you don't want to kill it. Okay. If you hit it really hard, well, then you can start screwing up the wood and getting it out. It's not all that easy. Okay. But when you come to something that's pretty aggressive, well, yeah, you can occasionally get on that hammer and really hit it harder. Okay. Okay, now, perfect example. I still have a gap there. I'm going to go in between. It's nice and tight over here, and I just put staple there. I got that gap right there. So yeah, I'm going to get on this. I'm going to give it a nice, good hit. And look at that. I'm going to tighten that right up. Okay? Good. All right. Being that I already had this project started before, I said to myself, hey, good video. One thing that I wasn't able to show you is that this nice, big, beautiful, expensive nail gun, well, the wall's in the way. So you need at least 3/4 of the floor going down before you can start using this. Simply, you have the board, put it down, you square, everything looks good, and you're going to use, I use a pneumatic finish nailer, okay? And then just boom, pop the nail in, pneumatic nail gun, it sinks down nice and low. You could use it, do by hand, but it's oak. You're gonna have to drill it, put the nail, use your nail set, push that nail in, because you definitely want that nail lower than the wood itself, because when you start sanding it, get that sander, grab a hold of that nail, whoop, all bets are off on that one. Okay, so I just want to show you that. I'm going to go ahead, and the homeowner, he wants to do some himself, and there's a lot to do. It probably, with our schedule, it's going to take us a while to do, but I just want to make a video to show you how basically it's installed. Now, this is unfinished, obviously, but you can go by the ready pre-finished floor, and you can do that, and that's really all done the same exact way. Except you just, you want to be a little bit more careful on it because that's the actual finish. One thing I can explain to you this wood here. If you look at this wood, it's very flat on both sides. okay? So when you start nailing it all together, you get little variations, and that's where the sanding will take that right down and make it nice and flat like glass. The finished floor, how to get away from that, is that all the edges have a slight chamfer to it. So in other words, this edge right here is going to have a little angle on it, a little chamfer to it, which is fine. But now the adjoining piece of wood is also going to have that chamfer to it. So, I mean, it all looks good and everything, but what happens when you get the dust build up, and with the hardwood floor, you will see the dust. Well, it's really hard to sweep that out. So just something to keep in mind if the pre-finish was the way you're going to go. I explain that to a lot of people, and they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. So then they go with real hardwood floor. Doing it yourself, save a ton of money, a ton. Because when we're done here, we're going to make a video on how to finish it, which is really easy. Just sanding it, you know, and putting the finish on it. Anyway, save yourself a ton of money and something that lasts forever. I hope I was able to teach you something. Anyway, I'm Dominic, DiY.com. Thanks for watching.